Well, good morning. My name is Ted Clouser, host of Win the Minute, Win the Day, the show that focuses on bringing hope to the chaos. Today, I have my friend Juan Fernandez on as our guest. Juan knows how to find success. As Vice President of Managed IT Services at Oklahoma-based managed service provider ImageNet Consulting, he was appointed as Vice Chair to the position on CompTIA's Channel Development Advisory Council just 2 months into the pandemic. He's also a Technology Council member for the Forbes Technology Council. Juan's an expert in the technology space, a global speaker, acquisition guru, and a man well on the path to building a legacy that precedes him. Oh, and perhaps most impressive of all, he was a big winner at the MSP Shark Tank and won a deal with Barbara Corcoran. Welcome to the show, Juan. It's an honor to have you.
Hey, Ted, it's great to be here today, and thanks for having me.
All right, well, let's just jump right in, Juan. What is your approach to personally waking up with a go win the day attitude?
The big thing for me is wake up every morning fresh and new and take a first few moments of that day to just breathe in the air of the day, you know, and really thank the Lord for the day and the ability to serve. That's like my biggest thing. Those are the first things out of my mouth, is the first thoughts that I have, is just humbleness and thankfulness for this day. And then I spend the first few hours, you know, first hour-ish, really just kind of getting my mind around what I'm going to accomplish that day. And once I have a couple of goals in mind and things that I either follow up from yesterday or today, new ideas and new plans, I do a little bit of research and then I get moving, and I constantly think about that as I'm getting ready each morning. And I get ready just like I do every day. I get up, I get dressed, I get ready to go face the day.
Love it. Well, you're someone who's often speaking on large stages, rooms full of tech experts, and over the past year, you've transitioned those to regular engagements over video. How do you feel about that?
It's a mixed bag for me, you know, but ultimately, at the end of the day, I feel like we're able to help more people with less friction, you know, just like this podcast. If we had to do this in person, you know, and we'd have to travel for several hours to be in a certain place to get ready and then, you know, then do the podcast. But with it being web enabled, it allows us to focus more on time. It gives us a lot of time back. A lot of people realize that, you know, they have more time now. And so it gives us the opportunity to focus more on our passions and goals. And overall, you know, as life gives you lemonades, personally, I'm enjoying the lemonade right now. Would I love to share it with you, Ted? Absolutely. I would love to share it with you. But at the same token, look at what we're able to do, right? We're able to help more. We're able to be more communicative. We're able to share more and actually reach more. And so I look at it like this. The challenges that we were presented gave us an opportunity to evolve. And that's really what we did. And even like you with this podcast, it's giving you the opportunity to help more people. And that's what I love about challenges, is that if you find the opportunity, we can grow from them.
Well, so you're not getting Zoom fatigue or video fatigue or all those things I keep hearing?
You know, I am tired of sitting down. I'll say that. I am tired of that. But Zoom fatigue, I at some points you do. But I mean, if you just think, you know, back to communicating with people openly, you know, I really miss the human interaction perspective. It's always been a big thing for me. You know, I love talking with people. I love sharing. I love being around others. It's just always been something that's a big passion for me. So I personally, as much as if anything, the webinars aren't the one thing that bother me. It's the human interaction piece. That's probably the one thing that's getting me the most. I miss being around great people and sharing great stories and creating new memories and helping others in meaningful ways.
Well, and really that's how I met you. You know, we met at a conference in Puerto Rico a year or two ago. You were just, your personality is intoxicating. You light up a room, you bring high energy. You know, you've taken an opportunity to mentor me personally over the past year or so. And I guess I just need to ask you, what is it that makes you so passionate about giving back? I mean, you're always helping people. You're really striving to make this world a better place. I guess my question is why?
For me, it's just, you know, you have to figure out what it is in your life is your passion, you know, and when you realize what your passion actually is and you align yourself with it, it's it just consumes all of you. And it's so gratifying to allow. I've known this for a long time. I've known that I was a giver ever since I was young. I always wanted to help others in need, and I've always been that way. You know, back from when I was a young child, I mean, I would go around and deliver newspapers, and those that couldn't afford them, I would, you know, if they ran into hard times, I would, you know, give them my own money because I knew that was something they wanted. You know, it's always been entrenched in me. And, you know, through my life, I've realized that who I am, right? I know who I am as a person. I know what my core values are. I know what I like to do and what I'm passionate about, and that's to give. I also realize that I'm a builder. And so the way I also give on that notion is to actually help build people and build businesses. And, you know, as an effective leader, my journey is to help others become successful without actually, you know, being micromanaged by me. So if I can help out in some meaningful way, I do. But here's the thing, you know, my life is all about lessons. And I also, as a teacher, give a lot of advice to others that are looking for meaningful ways. But here's what I did. And I'll talk about this because a lot of young people may be listening to this and they may be thinking, oh, well, I can never be a leader. Here's what I did. And I'll say this is that I learned from every single person that I ever was managed by around not what they did and how they were to get where they're at. That's the absolute opposite, right? What I took from everybody that I've ever worked under or for was what I would never be, right? I took and looked at all the negative traits around what they were doing and how they were interacting and how they affected me in the way that I said, when I become a leader, I'll never do that. Here I am as a leader. And what I did by taking that mentality was I didn't build a container around how I was going to serve others and, you know, create this imposter syndrome that we all know about. I didn't define success by X, right? I created boundaries around what I wouldn't do, and it allowed me to be free and ultimately allowed me to become who I want to be, as being a giver, a builder, and a leader. And that's, for me, you know, one of the best things is to help others and then watch them succeed, even if it's just a little bit, because then I can be in the back. And from my perspective, I always look for 3 ways to win the day. And I always define success by accomplishing something that day. And in this case, like this, you know, if I can help someone out and I see them succeed and I watch them go on and I can see it and I'm cheering them on in the background, that's a win for me too. And so that makes me feel really great about what I did, even if it was just a little bit.
Well, that's exciting, and I appreciate all you've done to help me. I do want to give a shout out to Sarah Strickland. She said, morning, Ted. Certainly good morning, Sarah. Thanks for being here. And then Mark Riddle, who I literally just met a week ago from Scotland. Honored to have him on here. Hello right back at you. So Juan, and just a reminder for those listening, you know, feel free to ask some questions in here. We'll give them to Juan if you put them in there. So what's a memorable story, Juan, that you can share about personally winning the day?
You know, I have a lot of them, Ted, but one of the ones that I think that it has been really most impactful, and it's just really been something that I like to share a lot about, it was a lesson that I recently reviewed with my daughter. And she was having a little bit of an opportunity in her new world, and she's young and she's very assertive, and she's very determined, and she's very driven. And she was struggling with this opportunity of failure. And she goes, Dad, I just suck at everything, you know, and I just, you know, we all have those days where we just fall apart, right? And we're like, you know, I just can't do anything right. And I said to her, okay, so one of 2 things is going to happen. You're in the bottom of this pit right now. You have 2 choices that you can make, and I'm going to give you the opportunity you can face life with, and you can figure it out, because I've been here where you're at. And there's only 2 things that are going to happen here. One of them is that you're going to cry and you're going to stay down there in that pit, and you're going to flail and you're going to flounder and you're going to carve at the walls of this dirt hole, and it's going to bury you with those problems. I said, but that's where you're at right now. I said, but you have an opportunity to take those same tears and strategically claw at that wall of dirt and take those tears and that problem and build a brick out of it, and then take those tears and then the next problem and build a brick out of it. And you crawl your way out of that problem and you see a little bit of success. it's not about fixing everything right now. It's about taking small wins for the day, whether it be mental, whether it says, you know what, hey, today's just not my day. I need to take 5 minutes for myself. And you take 5 minutes and you say, you know what, I'm successful because I was able to take that time and be successful internally. That's just a small win, right? But your days, if you pave them with at least 3 small wins, by the end of the week, you've had a successful week. And you can say, I did it. I got through the week. I had a great opportunity. I was able to actually be super successful this week, and look at all the things that I accomplished when I didn't start off this week that way, thinking, man, this week's really going to suck. You know, so that's a good story, and it's really helped her out a lot, you know, and she's referred back to it many times. And I like to share that story because I think that it's just a difference in mindset and how we actually move forward with our days.
Well, it is a great story. It kind of makes me think. I'm going to go off on a tangent a little bit. This is not something we talked about beforehand, so I hope it's okay for me to ask. But tell me how faith ties into this.
You know, for me, one of the big things is recognizing that I've been called, and I have there's a destiny for me. God has a plan for me. And one of the biggest things for me is recognizing that He's entrusted this day to me. And I've had the opportunity over my entire life to recognize that I'm not supposed to be where I am, but I am here because of God's grace. And I realize that He's given me a lot of opportunity, and I take that very seriously. I constantly ask God to let His words be mine and let His will be mine, and to let me follow in His ways in whichever He would place me, and allow me to be the person that He wants me to be each day. And it's really important, you know, and a lot of it has to do with faith. You know, I've been on the edge of that cliff a lot. And here's the hardest one, is when He tells you to do something and you don't want to do it, right? And you're just like, oh, I don't want to do that. And for me, a lot of our success has been because we've taken those steps of faith and actually done things that most people probably wouldn't do in faith. And so for us, it's really been, you know, me and my wife, we've been married 26 years, and, you know we got married young, and we know that it's been paved with all that. And because we've had faith, we're able to be where we are today.
That's a great story. I love that. Well, Laura chimed in from Philadelphia. Good morning. Great mindset. Thanks for sharing. So, Juan, we're almost out of time. So I just want to ask you, how do you personally unwind after winning the day?
One of the things that I found was investing all of my time in things that I find that I'm passionate about, or the ways that I unlock myself. Again, giving back is a big thing. And one of the things that I focus on, just like this, Ted, you've gotten text messages from me and calls late at night wondering, why is Juan calling me or texting me? Well, this pandemic has created a lot of insecurity and a lot of opportunity where people feel detached from another. And you know, for me, the way I unwind is by staying connected to others. And I talk to others and help them through problems and issues, because for me, that's how I stay mentally sharp, right? If I'm helping other people through issues or talking through, maybe I have a bit of advice or something that somebody's given me, or a tidbit of information that I learned that I can share, I love to do that. And so I make sure that I contact everybody that I know on a regular basis. I go through, and there's just a Rolodex of people that I continuously communicate with. And I mean, there's a lot of them, whether it be friends or family or new people that I just met. You know, there's always a reason why somebody's in your life, and it is our opportunity to help each other out. And I feel like that's how I unwind, is by just really embracing others and making sure that I'm doing as much as I can to help out.
Well, as I said earlier, you definitely had an impact in my life. I'm honored that we had a chance to meet. I'm thankful that we get a chance to do life together, and I appreciate you being on the show. And on that note, I want to just tell everybody, go win the day every day.